Hello and welcome to the year 2000 for the United Speed Alliance Racing Hooters Pro Cup. For those of you that may not have joined us for the season opener just a short time ago, let's take you back to that day and show you what happened in the closing laps of the race. On lap 247, we're getting ready for a restart here at this point, and Andy Thurman in the number 47 car is getting set to take his first win.
Yeah, and looking over this field, you can see this has been a very tight, competitive race. Look at the sheet metal on some of these guys. Some guys may have to start all over putting new bodies on.
A rough and tumble affair indeed as the field took the green on lap number 247 with Andy Thurman trying to hold off one of the many rookies in the field, John Wood, in that number 116 car. Andy Thurman just trying to hang on for 4 laps to collect his first ever Hooters Pro Cup victory, and he begins to open up just a little bit of a gap here on John Wood, who has opened a sizable gap on the rest of the field at this point.
Yeah, right now you're not sure which driver's more excited about getting their first win. Is it going to be Andy Thurman or is it going to be John Wood? I'm going to have to say, you got Andy Thurman, who's been running this series for a little while. He's had the opportunity to run with these guys. He tastes it, I think, a little more.
Deep in the field, Mario Augustine in an unfamiliar number 16 car, the Irmo grading entry, but out in front it's Andy Thurman in the naturally fresh Mountain Springwater car with 1 lap to go, stretching the distance out on John Wood, who is in his first ever USAR Hooters Pro Cup race. Thurman's car also showing the signs of a little bit of the wear and tear that was evident on almost every car by the time this race was done. Remember, this is the season opener of the USAR Hooters Pro Cup year 2000. Andy Thurman coming around to take the checkered flag and his first ever victory.
And that's the way you want to start the season. Yeah, there's a shot of Ed Wood, John Wood's father, who's kind of excited about being up there in the spotter stand.
No more excited, however, than the friends and family and the race car driver, Andy Thurman, who collects his first USAR Hooters Pro Cup victory. Speaking of John Wood, he gets our incentive risk management smart move of the race. Check his car out, diving down underneath as Bill Plemons goes whirling up against the wall. That was the smart move of the race as Andy Thurman pulled into victory lane.
You can hardly find a spot down here because so many people knew that this young man had it in him. Congratulations. I did not expect you to come out with such a dominant win the first time out. Outside of Bill, tell me about the incident with Bill.
I'll tell you what, Stephen, I hate that happened. Bill had an awful good car tonight. We were awful good. We were awful good all night long. Like I said, we just both got into one real hard. I was better than him off of 4. He was better than me off of 2, and I got a run on him down the front stretch, and I knew I had to do something pretty quick, and we just both got in there hard, and he started coming down, and I was on the brakes as hard as I could. I could see smoke rolling off the left front, so down all the way on the bottom, and I hate that I got into him. And well, like I said, I mean, that's racing, and I raced everybody clean tonight all night long, and that's the way I want to be raced, and I hate that happened. But like I said, the guys, thank God right here. We couldn't be here without him. We got this car about a week and a half ago, pretty much a bare chassis, and the guys put it together in about a week and a half. And late getting here to the track and everything, and just I can't believe it.
That was then, and this is now. Coming up next, the Jackaroo Sauces 250 from St. Augustine, Florida. Stay with us. The USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series has been brought to you by Hooters Restaurants. Hooters, delightfully tacky yet unrefined. And by Jackaroo Sauces. Jackaroo tastes so great they named their steakhouse after it. By Naturally Fresh Dressing. It's not just our name, it's our promise. And by Miller Lite, the great taste of a true Pilsner beer. Attempts, Andy Thurman earned his first Pro Cup victory, taking it away with only 10 laps to go from leader Bill Plemons.
If he take it back, he would, but, we all want to win one of these races.
And what about the toughest rookie class in Pro Cup history? 4 of them in the top 10.
Man, I love it. This is just awesome.
The tension is building. Tempers are rising. America's greatest spectator sport is in St. Augustine. Florida Speed Park in St. Augustine boasts the fastest Saturday night show in Florida. Tonight it hosts round 2 of the United Speed Alliance Racing Hooters Pro Cup Series, the Jackaroo Sauces 250, presented by Winn-Dixie. Hello everyone, I'm Brian Drebber, along with Bill Venturini and Stephen Cox. You know, with only one race gone in a 20-race season, it's a little too early to talk about championship or any of the things that will be important later on in the year. But we do know a few things now that we didn't know when this season began. Number one, rookies are going to be a very important part of the story all year long. We found that out in Lakeland, where 2 of the top 3 finishers were rookies, 4 of the top 10. But the guy that led them all home may look like a rookie, he's not. Since the beginning of last season, he's been on a tear, and he started out with a win this time around. Andy Thurman in the 47 Naturally Fresh car.
Well, you definitely want to go back now. Once you've been to victory lane that first time, it's I don't know how second's going to feel now. You know, used to finish top 5, you was pretty happy, you know, you get a good top 5 finish. But like I said, we're here to win again, and it's kind of like Bobby Gill said last year. He showed up to win races every time, and I think if you're winning races, the points will take care of themselves. Obviously, our long-term goal this year is a championship, but week to week we want to be here and win races.
Time will tell if Andy Thurman can win yet again here this season. Let's go to the third member of our broadcast team, Stephen Cox.
Well, the Carter Grandel Casual Furniture decal was not supposed to be on the hood of this race car. It was supposed to be on the hood of the car driven by B.J. McLeod. Well, as it turned out, McLeod didn't qualify for either of the first 2 races. So about 4 days ago, Mario Gosselin's phone rang. Well, it was Webb Carter from the Carter Grandel Company saying, look, we want somebody to represent us at St. Augustine. Will you carry our colors, please, just once? Well, of course, Mario Gosselin was glad to oblige, and there's no better way to invest your money on a one-race basis than to find a veteran of the caliber of Mario Gosselin. Mario, you're the Discount Auto Parts pole sitter for tonight. Was it that good, just rolling it right off the truck?
Well, I tell you, Haskell Willingham and the whole crew, 16 crew, really did a good job preparing this car this week. And we tuned on a little bit today and felt like we were going to be a top 4 car. Weren't too sure about the pole, but Carter Grandel's on board, and couldn't happen at a better time for us. Hope we, keep it up front all night and be there at the end.
Mario Gosselin, our Discount Auto Parts pole sitter, will lead them away when the green flag waves. But before that happens, we got to fire him up. To do just that, it'll be our Grand Marshal, Bill Tieski from Winn-Dixie.
With the most famous words in all of motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines.
"36 cars will take the flag when it waves here at St. Augustine, the Florida Speed Park, a new name, but the same great place for racing. Stay with us. We'll be right back in just a moment. The USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series has been brought to you by Hooters Restaurants. Hooters, delightfully tacky yet unrefined. And by Jackaroo Sauces. Jackaroo tastes so great they named a steakhouse after us. By Naturally Fresh Dressings. It's not just our name, it's our promise. And by Miller Lite, the great taste of a true Pilsner beer. Welcome back to Florida Speed Park. I'm Brian Drebber alongside champion race car driver Bill Venturini, who's our weatherman. He's going to give us a weather report and a look at the track, sponsored by Renegade Race Transporters.
Again, another fast half-mile oval, but the front straightaway and back straightaway are not the same. The front straightaway is more straight. The back is almost like a total oval. As far as weather, again, somebody's definitely been able to hack into the weatherman. Perfect weather for racing, 66 degrees, sunny and clear. This is what a driver prays for when he knows he's got to go racing.
Let's go back downstairs to Stephen Cox.
Keep a close eye on the 30 car tonight. Mark Nesbitt had a terrible first round in the very first race of the year in Lakeland, so they took the car back to the shop and dipped into a fund that was supposed to buy them a new car later in the year. Well, Mark will still get his new car, but not until halfway through the year. Instead, they took that money and invested it in new components on the 30 car for tonight's race. Now, they completely took the front clip and the rear clip off the race car, put all new components, even a new sheet metal body. Everything on this car except the roll cage is new. Literally everything. Not only the components, but even the setup and the geometry of the car is brand new. And whatever they did, it worked, because Mark's in third place.
You know, Stephen mentioned new geometry. Mark put the same front clip that has the same geometry as Mario Goslin and Bobby Gill from last year, the Billy Hess chassis, and they seem to work.
And speaking of those two, you met our pole sitter Mario Goslin. There's veteran and defending champion Bobby Gill making up the front row in our Jackaroo Sauces starting grid. There's Mark Nesbitt in the third place qualifying car alongside Clayton Rogers, first of our rookies in the field.
Next rookie starting inside row 3, Brian Vickers. Next to him, Jerry Rector in the Reds Grill Chevrolet.
We should mention that 18 rookies took qualifying. 14 of them will start, including David Pletcher in the 51 car out of Pinellas Park, Florida. Steve Christian, former rookie, the champion, in fact, last year.
Right, next, starting next row, Curtis Davis, another rookie, and John Wood. Good show last weekend. Again, rookie. You're showing me up with these rookies today, Brian.
Yes, in the Yoo-Hoo car. Another rookie, number 36, Sean Studer, goes with veteran Bill Plemons back on row number 6 in the Hooters car. Mike Laughlin Jr. made the field this time. No engine problems in the number 7 car there, and that is the Valinite Tool entry with Stacy Puryear, last time pole sitter.
And then we've got, again, 2 more rookies. Mark King on the inside of row 8, and starting next to him, Kevin Barrett.
And then we have Marty Lindley in the Alleluia entry with winner Andy Thurman in the Naturally Fresh Mountain Springwater car making up row number 9. And as we look at row number 10, it's Reagan Smith, a rookie, and Jay Fogelman in the number 4 car there, a new dad. He had twins born just over 2 weeks prior to this race.
Starting row 11 inside, Jeff Agnew. At least we're not with a rookie. We've got a veteran here. Actually, a past champion starting the inside of row 11.
And Don Satterfield in the Hawksaw Blades entry, one of the great veterans in the field. John Kinder, a young man in the 08 car there, and that's the Daily Drill entry. Terry Klein, a rookie, and Derek Kelly in the 21 Discount Auto Parts car, back deep in the field for the second time this season.
Again, another rookie starting inside of row 14, Shane Huffman. Finally, another past champion, Marty Ward.
Looking back to row number 15, we've got number 34, Mike Herman in the Today's Fireplaces car, Karen Schultz in the Naturally Fresh Foods, number 89. Then we move to the next row with Trent Owens in the 1-800-B Petty entry number 32, and Jason Bowser in the 52 car, the Bowser Motorsports entry.
Row 17 inside, Richard Parks Jr., another rookie. Next to him, our veteran Charlie Ford in the Sun Graphic Chevrolet.
And finally, a pair of provisional starts coming from number 99, Chris Diamond in the PSA Home Healthcare car, and Darrell Hayes, yes, a rookie, in the number 45 car, the Carlin Financial Group. That makes up our field of 36.
Brian, with the stellar rookie field we've had this year, look what's happened to some of these veterans. Tim Clayton, Ronnie Davidson, Joe Harrison, Jabe Jones, Tim Edwards. These guys have had to go home tonight from this show.
Onboard cameras tonight will be carried by the winner of the opener, Andy Thurman, of the Naturally Fresh Mountain Springwater car, number 47. So he will carry a camera for us from his position in the field. Sean Studer, the Yoo-Hoo chocolate drink car. This is a guy that's done a great job in just his first race in Hooters Pro Cup season. He's opened a lot of eyes with his talent and with a good-looking car. Stephen Christian, our eyes are wide open when this guy's got a camera on board, and he does once again in the Lucas Oil Products and the rearview mirror.
Yeah, look at the rearview mirror. You see that? Good shot with the rearview mirror on this one. I'm excited about that tonight. We'll see who's running on his bumper.
And Buggy Pletcher in the Big Daddy's Barbecue Sauce entry number 51 will provide our final onboard camera view. So, like Bill Venturini, who actually drives a race car, you will be able to go on board with some of these guys here tonight. Getting ready to start the race, and to do that, it'll be Tom Barr, Winn-Dixie's Director of Special Sales. There he is, waving the flag, and we are underway with the Jackaroo Sauces 250 presented by Winn-Dixie. Mario Goslin off to a good start with Bobby Gill challenging on the outside. 2 of the great veterans of this series and 2 of the very talented drivers in all of stock car racing. Sparks are flying already here at Florida Speed Park.
Yeah, you know, we've mentioned that last year. What happens is the first start of the race, everyone's got their air pressures down a little because, you know, you get such big pressure buildups during the race. So the first couple laps, your air pressure's down. You get into the corner, some stuff kind of just drags. Nothing to worry about.
As the pressure comes up and the tires of Sparks will go away, well, we hope not, at least figuratively speaking, as Bobby Gill is able to take the lead from his outside front row position. A little bit better setup on a quick short run here Quickly up into third spot, it is the number 2 car of Clayton Rogers, the rookie driver of the Fire Protection Services Company car, and Mark Nesbitt of the State Fair brand Corn Dogs number 30 that we talked about, or Stephen Cox rather talked about before the start of this race, a brand new car. Let's see how long he can keep it looking good.
Yeah, Clayton Rogers, he ran a couple races with us last year, showed us some good promise, you know, made us to be aware that this guy's definitely going to have a shot to run for Rookie of the Year this year.
Very, very talented young driver. Of course, we would have to say that about almost all of these rookie drivers, but Clayton Rogers also a very nice young man. Spent a lot of time talking to him at Lakeland, and he has high hopes for this season and a good attitude. Doesn't want to go out there and set the world on fire, just wants to make good, consistent finishes. First yellow of the race, and you would imagine that caution flags come out with this big of a field early, and in fact, involved is Karen Schultz in the Naturally Fresh Foods car. The crowd is on their feet. No serious damage. We'll be back to check it out for you here in just a moment. Welcome back to St. Augustine, Florida. Florida Speed Park. Bobby Gill, the leader. Caution brought out as David Craddock got a little sideways, collected Karen Schultz, and there's a little bit of bumping and grinding going on at the back of the field. As we take a look at the field summary, the positions up front changed, and the third and fourth place also changed.
Yeah, as a driver, this is something you don't want to see right away, as a yellow right away early in the race, you know, in the first 5 or 10 laps, because what happens is, if you notice, everyone has to start single file. So, you know, the race starts originally, you're double filed, you're only a half a straight away from the leader. Now, because they're single file, this guy, the guy starting last, he's a half a racetrack now from the leader when they drop the green.
Big Daddy's Barbecue Sauces providing our onboard look from the number 51 car of David Fletcher, running in 6th spot right now. Leader Bobby Gill is up in front. A couple of car lengths over Mario Gosselin. Clayton Rogers put Mark Nesbitt back into 4th. And then we see the number 42 car of Brian Vickers, rookie driver in the 2 Quick Performance Shocks entry. He's running 5th right now.
Did you notice he has his own website, brianvickers.com? You know, when I was a racer, we didn't even know what a computer was.
And the 01 car of Marty Lindley, who's got his own automobile back this weekend. He had to rent a car from Don Sprouse last time out in order to get his points at Lakeland for the season opener. His own car was unable to make the field and damaged and mechanically was not able to make the field, so he had to rent a car, but he's back in the Alleluia 01. As we look at Jeff Agnew, champion 2 seasons ago in the number 73. He's got a very fast car, and he's pushing hard on the back end of Mark King's Busch Motorsports. And then John Wood getting past. He was so good in that opener at Lakeland, and he just does not have the handle this week that he did then.
Well, you see, Derek Kelly got underneath him, kind of left him hung out in the outside groove, and Marty Ward saw the opening, did the same thing, got his nose underneath him, and John's just got to kind of give the position up right now. Now watch, as soon as Marty gets by him, bam, he drops back down to the inside. But his car's pushing you.
Yep.
Yeah, his car is pushing up a little, so he may have a problem with staying where he's at right now.
Another caution flying on the track, and it is Jason Bowser's 52 car involved with the 46 of rookie Richard Parks in the Ocoee River Transport entry. There is Bowser, and he is damaged on the left rear. Mario Gosselin in 2nd position. Bowser goes around.
He's definitely got a lot of damage in the back of that car. Oh, the whole front end, too.
Yep. Let's go downstairs. Stephen Cox standing by on pit road for a report as Dave Fletcher pulls in.
Well, the 52 car of Jason Bowser is going to lose a valuable lap. He was on the lead lap running toward the back of the pack, but Jason got together with the 89 car yet again, and this time it cost him a lot of trouble. They've got the hammer out. They're beating on the left rear quarter of this thing, trying to get it back together. They've already taped up the front right. Now, this car is able to go again, but the problem is just with body work.
That's the situation here at Florida Speed Park right now. We'll be right back. Here at Florida Speed Park, which used to be called St. Augustine Speedway. In fact, some of the signs outside the track still call it that. There have been some pretty important winners here. Two of them sitting on the front row of this race, and one of them has moved on to Busch Grand National. Michael Rich doing very well in that series, we might add.
And while we're at break here, the number 32 car of Trent Owens is behind the wall right now.
Stopping several times during each of the two cautions so far, and finally succumbing to injury, shall we say, as Bobby Gill takes them back to the green flag here on lap number 24, with Mario Gosselin very quickly up behind. Clayton Rogers and Martin Nesbitt still dueling over third spot, and Brian Vickers rounding out the top 5 here at Florida Speed Park.
Boy, they dropped that green flag, and these two guys kind of just take off on their own here, don't they?
Bobby Gill very quick on short runs. We saw that from the very first green flag as he's able to open a gap. Mario Gosselin, the only one that can stay with him. Getting a glimpse of Jerry Rector's number 77 Red's Grill entry starting to creep in well into the top 10. Out in front, it's Bobby Gill. There's Steve Christian. Let's listen in on his radio. Perhaps we'll hear Crew Chief Scott Sutherland.
Go like turn this thing and roll down on the bottom. Right down through here and touch the apron. Well, keep doing it. They're going to come back to you.
Yeah, did you hear Scotty said that? Steve, don't worry about it. Just keep doing what you're doing. They're going to come back to you. What he means is that, you know, Steve had said, well, the leaders are kind of getting away from me. And Scott says, don't worry about it. You know, your car will come in as the tires get hotter, and the leaders will probably back up. Everyone backs up. You just make sure that your car doesn't back up as much as everyone else's.
A little bit deeper in the field, a pretty good battle outside the top 10 involving Sean Studer, whose onboard camera is giving us a look at it. John Wood still pushing a little bit and having problems. Derek Kelly in the Discount Auto Parts entry definitely moving to the front from his 26th start position.
Look, these guys aren't afraid to go 3 wide in the corners here. I mean, we just watched John Wood do it, and now Karen Schultz was kind of the cream in the Oreo cookie on that one.
Karen Schultz minus the hood after her early race altercation. And there we see her doing a little bit of battle with rookie Mark King in the Busch Motorsports entry number 82. Karen Schultz on the high side as Don Satterfield slides down low in the Hawk Saw Blades number 1 and moves on down the line.
Also going underneath Karen Schultz is John Kinder in the DailyDrill.com Chevrolet.
Kinder also started back a little bit deeper in the field, 2 spots ahead of Derek Kelly. And so these guys are moving forward here. Getting a glimpse of a number of the cars. 00 there of Curtis Davis. He's losing spots because these other guys are gaining them. Karen Schultz there with the hood off. And there's Curtis Davis in the 00.
Running right behind him
Charlie
is Charlie Ford.
He got
right.
black flagged during that second caution. He had part of the rear bumper or something hanging off, and so they got it fixed and sent him back out. Richard Parks Jr. on pit road, as is David Pletcher. Problems continuing as he goes behind the wall in the Big Daddy's Barbecue Sauce car, so the only look we're going to get from his onboard camera now is going to be of the infield. Crew's going to pick up the hood and see if they can find the problem.
That's not the shot you want to show your sponsors. One out the window when you're sitting in pit road.
Mike Herman Jr.'s number 34. Today's Fireplaces entry, just got a glimpse of it as we go back to the leaders. Bobby Gill and Mario Gosselin 0.4 of a second behind him. Then it's 2 seconds further back to Clayton Rogers and the rest of the field beginning with 3rd place.
Well, Martin Nesbitt's got to be happy. He's, running in 4th right now. It's probably the strongest he's run since the middle of the season last year. But again, we talked a little about him, that he went back home after Lakeland and decided it's time to cut up the car and let's build a new one, and it seems to be working good for him tonight.
Jerry Rector just disappearing out of the picture. Front and center is the 92 car of Stacy Puryear, who was the pole sitter at Lakeland. And on the outside, a man on a mission, Bill Clemens Jr. He was so tough in that opening race, and you know that after getting punted out of the lead a little bit in, quote, just one of them racing deals, he is hungry for a victory here, and he has got a renewed vigor for this entire season.
Well, yeah, he told me that when we were at the banquet back in December. We were sitting talking, and he says, Bill, he says, I've got to make a really serious effort for the championship. I'm going to do what it takes to run up front in the year 2000. And he's showing that he's doing it.
Well, there's been a trend here lately in racing, maybe within the last 10 or 12 years, certainly at the very highest level, to sort of stay away from the other guys, not be banging your way to the front a little bit. Well, I think Bill Clemens Jr. went back to the old school. He says, I'm going to get there any way I have to. And he's heading for the front right now.
Boy, look at the leaders. They're already in lap traffic right now. I mean, it didn't take them long to get into this. Now we're going to see if Mario is going to use some of his driving savvy here to see if he can put a move on Bobby Gill. But I don't know. Gill is really quick right now.
He had to get inside of the lap car there. That's the 52 of Jason Bowser. A little bit of brake glow there on Gosselin's car as he stuffs it in to the turn. Bowser now running third on the racetrack, but he is a lap down. Your third place car is the 2 of Clayton Rogers. That's the Fire Protection Services black car, number 2. There it is. A bit of a distance further back is Martin Nesbitt, the 4th place car, number 30, the State Fair brand Corn Dogs car. A couple of lap cars, including the 84 of Shane Huffman and the 44 of Terry Klein, the Team Concept 2000 car that I hope we get a little bit more of a chance to talk about later on. There's Bobby Gill, the leader, and he just looks so strong here at St. Augustine.
Yeah, Bobby Gill's really got the PGT Industries Ford hooked up tonight. You know, he was a little frustrated after the first race this year. He was deciding, you know, what was wrong with the car. He says, I'm going to definitely work my butt off, get this thing right for St. Augustine, and he's showing that he definitely did his homework.
Coming up on the 45 of Darrell Hayes and the 08 of John Kinder to put them a lap down. Mario Gosselin used the traffic to a little bit of advantage to close the gap right up to the rear bumper of Bobby Gill. And now he's pushing him a little bit as Gill is still contending with that 45, the Carlin Financial Group number 45 car of Darrell Hayes, a rookie driver. Gosselin now losing a little bit of ground. He backs off, then he dives in hard under braking, closes up a car length on Bobby Gill. But as soon as Gill gets a clear track, he's about almost a tenth a lap quicker.
Yeah, you can see it though. But the minute Bobby Gill opens the door, Mario Gosselin's right there to jump in. I don't know if Mario's got enough to pass Bobby Gill, but he's got enough to stay right there. So if Bobby Gill opens the door, he's got a chance to go right with him.
They brought Karen Schultz in on a black flag. She had a sway bar dragging, so the crew had to go to work on the Naturally Fresh Foods number 89, still suffering from some post-impact damage out there on the racetrack, but Karen is out and racing again. Bobby Gill, the leader. Mario Gosselin running in second. Clayton Rogers third. Very little has changed up front. There are positions changing a bit deeper in the field. There's that Team Concept 2000 entry, number 44, and the 30 of Martin Nesbitt rolling around on the outside and challenging Clayton Rogers as they battle for third position on the racetrack.
Look at Mart using the outside line right now. He's the first guy to try it tonight, to pass on the outside.
Take a look at our Goodyear full field rundown. We've talked about the top 5 cars. Brian Vickers still rounds out the top 5 and is along with is our leading rookie. Here's Steve Christian, the former rookie champion. Jerry Rector has moved up into the lead group and stayed there. Derek Kelly from 26th up to 15th in the Discount Auto Parts entry. He's battling with Jeff Agnew right now. Marty Ward starts the next 5, and there you can see are some of the rookies, including Sean Studer and John Wood.
Here you are giving a full field rundown, and I'm getting excited watching the action out the front windshield of Steve Christian's car. These guys were sideways pushing and bumping. And we got a car definitely smoking really bad.
A lot of smoke on the racetrack, and that is the 84 of Shane Huffman, who was struggling and suffering a little bit, and apparently it was because the engine was going south on him, and now it went all the way south as we bring out another caution here on lap number 52. The USAR officials also want to have a look at the 21 car of Derek Kelly. Stephen Cox is with crew chief David Adams. Let's go downstairs.
David, tell me what happened to the 21 car.
Oh, they thought we had an oil leak, but we just got a little oil blowing up out of the breather on the oil tank. There's no oil getting on the racetrack or anything. The car's running good. We'll be all right.
You guys were running forward, moving quickly through the pack. How bad is this going to hurt you on track position?
It's not going to hurt us at all. They're going to put us back in the position where we were at because there was nothing wrong with the car. The Discount Auto Parts Chevrolet is really running good, and we're coming to the front.
Better safe than sorry. That always works. But for Shane Huffman, he's out of the race. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Florida Speed Park in St. Augustine, Florida, with more of the Jackaroo Sauces 250.
Bill, I don't think you could have done it any better than that. Thanks again, girls. As we take a look at pit action, and let's go down to Stephen Cox.
David, you're snake bit with engine problems for the second race in a row. What happened this time?
We broke a valve. It's a shame because the car was running real good. We had our best qualifying effort, and I brought the man that built the car to come help me, and he had her dialed in for me really good and broke a valve, but we'll be back to Tri-County.
Yeah, if he's anything like his father, he's a competitor because I raced against his father for many years.
Well, he had a good effort going here until mechanical gremlins took him out of the race. We're getting ready to go back to the green flag with leader Bobby Gill on the outside and Mike Herman Jr. on the inside among the lap cars. Herman not able to get the jump. And Bobby Gill runs out into the lead as Mario Gosselin is a little tail happy trying to come around on the outside of Mike Herman there to catch up to the man who's out in front.
Well, I mentioned it earlier, you know, the preferred line around this racetrack is down on the bottom. You don't want to have to go to the outside to pass anyone if you don't have to here.
Darrell Hayes in the 45 car, a little loose, also down on the inside and the line of lap cars. Now we can see Mike Herman has dropped into third position on the racetrack. There's the 45 of Hayes. So a couple of lap cars in between the two leaders and the rest of the field that are scrambling now, led by Steve Christian is in there in the 0 car. We see him, the 42 on the outside, rookie Brian Vickers. A lot of action deep in the field. Jerry Rector right in the
I was
middle
going to say,
of it.
do you see who was right behind Brian Vickers? Jerry Rector. And right behind Jerry was Bill Clemens Jr. in Hooter Chevrolet. We got a car spinning in the corner.
Yeah, and that's the 45 car that was a little loose on the restart. Darrell Hayes, the Carlin Financial Group car. Darrell Hayes, rookie driver out of King, North Carolina, faced the wrong way on the racetrack. Now he's trying to get it aimed in the correct direction. He's going to use pit road to do that. No, he's coming down pit road. Here's another look at what happened. Up out of the screen already goes Hayes.
Yeah, it looks like he was just up in the higher groove. It doesn't look like anyone kind of helped him, but fortunately he didn't hit anything. No one made any contact with him, so he's going to be able to just turn around and keep right on going.
A lot of loose stuff up there out of the racing groove. Another look at it as Darrell Hayes keeps it off the wall and heading north in the southbound lane, avoids everybody else coming at him. Once again, let's go downstairs to Stephen Cox. Pit action, including one of the leaders.
Mario Gosselin in very, very early for a pit stop. I have a hard time believing, Bill, that this was a scheduled pit stop, but they're taking rubber on the right side. They had a pretty significant fuel leak here on the left rear. Now they put the car down. They're going to go 4 tires all the way around and give up all of their track position. But you guys saw him from up there in the booth. He was dropping back.
Yeah, but he's going to have to go 190 laps on these set of tires. I agree. I think he pitted too early right now.
Well, we'll talk about it a little bit, and we'll join you in just a moment. The next 5 races on our schedule began in North Carolina, and I know you're bringing your sticks to the first of our 4 Champions Challenge races at Myrtle Beach.
Well, yeah, Eric, our producer, he's been telling me we got to go golfing at these when we go to these races. Get ready, buddy. Here comes Myrtle Beach.
And we are getting set to go back to the green flag here at Florida Speed Park in St. Augustine. Down on the inside, Mike Herman Jr. and the 44 of Terry Klein leading the lap cars. Bobby Gill leading all the cars back to the flag. Mario Gosselin stopped, of course, and that puts Clayton Rogers up into second spot in the number 2 car. Steve Christian in third as we take a look at our field summary here. Andy Thurman, winner of the opener, rounding out the top 10 right now. Mark Nesbitt sliding back into 9th.
Good strong run so far for Brian Vickers for the young rookie. I mean, the guy's been running in the top 5 since they dropped the green flag.
Let's talk a little bit more about Mario Gosselin stopping this early in the race. You know, when I first saw that going on, I said, well, hey, he might as well stop. He doesn't have anything for Bobby Gill with the tires he's running now.
Oh, man, I don't know. I think it's a risky call. I think he's got to run too many laps on these set of tires unless he plans on pitting again. But like you said, he didn't have anything for Bobby Gill. What's he got to lose? I don't know. We're going to find out.
Well, while Bill Venturini polishes up his crystal ball, we'll watch John Wood on the inside with another rookie, Sean Studer, in the Yoo-Hoo Chocolate Drink car. And John Wood's getting the better of it right now at his GoRacing.com number 116.
We've made a big point so far in the first 2 races about rookies and veterans, but I got to say something. I've been looking at all these rookies. I remember when I was racing a rookie. I mean, these guys look so young. These rookies, like, you know, clean cut, you know, short hair. They're probably they look like they're teenagers, like they just got their driver's license, and here they are racing against the veterans. Boy, am I glad, you know, times have changed, and I'm kind of glad I'm in the booth right now and not behind the wheel.
Only a handful of cars stopped along with Mario Gosselin, so if his move was the right one, it was in the minority. Also stopping was the 01 of Marty Lindley, the 08 of John Kinder, and the 14 car, Charlie Ford, stopped early as well. So we're going to have to see if those guys are able to make it to the front.
There's
Mike Laughlin
Jr.'s
number
yep.
7 Valanite tool car. Boy, the big guy with the happy face shirt on, he just had some bad luck the first race out, but he's got an awful good car here tonight.
Well, you know, we missed him towards the end of the season last year, and he went to Lakeland, had problems just before qualifying, couldn't get his motor changed to get on the starting line for the race. Glad to see Mike Laughlin back racing. You know, good competitor, you know, good car. I mean, the guy runs up front, and he was a winner last year. Nice to see him back racing with us.
Brian Vickers and Jerry Rector rounding out the top 5 as we glance at our field summary real quick, and we watch Marty Ward and Jay Fogelman. Now look at Jay Fogelman there in the number 4 car. He is, you know, of course, a perennial front runner, and in the Jeffco Motorsports car out of Durham, North Carolina. But, you know, you have to wonder about Jay Fogelman. Has he gotten any sleep in the last couple of weeks? He and his wife just had twins a little over 2 weeks before this race. And, you know, 2 weeks into that deal, there's no sleeping.
Now, when you have kids, you know, 2 weeks old, you know, and especially twins, you got to get up to change diapers on one or feed the other. You never get to sleep.
Well, they had some photographs of the 2 newborns and also of the rest of the family. The entire Fogelman family pretty much live on a farm together. It's a very large extended family, and there was a great shot of Grandpa, Jay's dad, sitting there with one of the babies asleep on his chest, and I don't think Grandpa's getting much sleep either. But Jay Fogelman doing a good job out on the racetrack, sleep deprived or not. Yeah. We watch the 42 car. That's rookie Brian Vickers with a great run. And we go again, just in case you forgot what the number 5 PGT car of race leader Bobby Gill looked like. There it is. There's Vickers.
You know, I was talking to Brian's dad, Clyde, who owns CV Products, and we were talking about the young rookies and his son coming up. And, you know, notice there's no name on the car right now. He kind of told me, he says, well, we're kind of looking for a sponsor to help him out. You know, I think you've got some promise with this young driver.
Bill Clemens Jr. in the Hooters car on the outside of Don Satterfield's number 1. Satterfield gets down low, and Clemens gets balked up just a little bit by David Craddock. So a lot of action deep in the field here as guys are trying to make their way forward into this top 5 that we're looking at.
And look who's running 4th. Jerry Rector's moved up to 4th right now in the Reds Grill Chevrolet.
Derek Kelly from 26th up to 7th. Minor heart palpitations over smoke that proved not to be serious. As we go on board with Sean Studer in the Yoo-Hoo chocolate drink car.
Yeah, look on the dash, Brian. Next to the Yoo-Hoo decal, there's a piece of tape. You see it right there? Right next to it. It's got an R and an F. That's for the brake adjuster. These cars, you're able to put a little more rear brake or front brake into the car. And when you're driving, you don't remember which way to go, so you got to have a big sign to tell you front or rear.
Sean Studer driving a good race here so far. A lot of these rookie drivers have really opened a lot of eyes, not only by their sheer numbers, the smoke coming off the 11 car of Kevin Barrett. So we're going to keep an eye on that. The car is doing just fine, but it's smoking like crazy. 2 spots ahead of Andy Thurman's number 47 Naturally Fresh Mountain Spring Water car that won the opener at Lakeland. There's Thurman, and there is the 11 car of Barrett. You can see there's a lot of smoke coming out from under that car, but he's going awful hard in spite of it.
It's not affecting the handling of the car, but it's definitely smokes as he gets into the corner.
Well, the USAR officials' radio is crackling right now. They're talking about it. We'll keep you posted. We continue to watch the action here. There's Kevin Barrett, and he's fogging in the field with that number 11 car. The Harton Automotive Group Mark Portable Buildings entry out of Cleveland, Georgia. Another look at John Wood going down low on John Kinder's car. And they're going side by side. Bobby Gill, just another quick reminder of who the leader is and what his car looks like. The defending champion of the USAR Hooters Pro Cup is the leader of this race and has been since lap 2.
Yeah, he's kind of been the class of the field tonight.
Comes up behind the 45 of Darrell Hayes.
He was testing his brakes in the middle of that corner. You can definitely tell that.
Well, he reached for the chrome horn, but he didn't blow it. Bobby Gill Plenty of time to drive by a lapped car, and now he pulls down on the low line.
Yeah, he doesn't have to force the issue right now because there's nobody challenging Bobby Gill.
Not really. There are nothing but lapped cars immediately behind him, including the 44, Terry Klein, new driver in that Team Concept 2000 car. They weren't able to qualify it in the first race, and their driver went on to some other duties, so they picked up Terry Klein to drive that 44 car. Here's another look at our field summary, and you can see 2 1/4 seconds back to the number 2 car of Clayton Rogers in second spot.
And there's
almost 8 seconds separating the top 5.
And that's Clayton Rogers right in front of Steve Christian that we were looking out the front window.
Steve Christian in the 0 car, driving in third spot. Let's listen in on the radio again, see if we can pick up Scott Sutherland.
Guy broke something in the motor, broke a valve spring, I think.
Yeah,
you don't think we're out of gas till you're sputtering like that, bud.
Come on in, Steven, come on in. Ready, boys.
No tires, fuel only, fuel only.
Yeah.
Well, there's some concern.
Yeah, just before you said it, you said, let's listen in. I saw Steve slow down. Now, I don't know if he's out of fuel or not. I mean, I can't imagine him being out of fuel. If there's a problem in his pickup in the fuel cell.
Well, that was a quick, rather intuitive call by Sutherland to say they broke a valve or something. So they're guessing, and meanwhile, the crew is fueling up the car, and Stephen Cox is down there with them. Let's go to Stephen.
Well, it's a green flag, fuel only stop for Steve Christian, and he's killed the motor trying to take off. Actually, they're pushing him, trying to get the number 0 Lucas Oil car going once again, and so far, no success. The car dies again toward the end of the straightaway, and this is absolutely killing Steve's chances in this race. Christian had moved all the way up into the top 5 after a lackluster start to his day.
Well, Scott Sutherland and the whole crew trying to get him going there, and now they've got to back the car down pit road to get another run at it. Of course, they won't let him push it, won't let them push it further than the end of pit road. We return to action out on the racetrack minus Stephen Christian as we watch some more action involving the 08 of John Kinder, who's kind of caught in a little bit of a revolving door as Bobby Gill, the leader, goes outside and puts Don Satterfield a lap down. There's new dad Jay Fogelman and Marty Ward, couple of veteran drivers and race winners battling for the 11th spot on the track.
Yeah, who'd ever think Jay Fogelman would say, I need a break, let me get in the race car.
Yeah, those early morning feedings have got to be just a nightmare compared to what's going on for him out here right now. At least this is familiar territory.
I'm trying to remember back when I was a young father. The feedings didn't bother me. It was the diaper changing I'd have to question.
Okay, then. Another father heard from as Jay Fogelman is giving his family a lot to cheer about here, the ones that are with him at the racetrack. And Jay Fogelman driving pretty hard there in the Jeffco Motorsports entry, trying to forget that he doesn't have much sleep. I told him before the start of the race, I said, Jay, now make sure you don't be catching up on your sleep after the green flag drops out here. That could be bad.
Yeah. Look at Martin Nesbitt right now. He's getting underneath Kevin Barrett in the Harrington Automotive Group Chevrolet.
A lot of action here inside the top 10 and just out of the top 5 as Mike Laughlin Jr. is leading quite a parade. Kevin Barrett, the smoke has gone away on his race car.
Well, we got a yellow right now.
And a caution coming out on the racetrack, and it's the 01 car, Marty Lindley, taking a spin. You just saw the tail end of it there. Marty Lindley back in his own Alleluia Ford Taurus, trying to find a way to get back into the race.
Yeah, remember, Ford Taurus, not a Pontiac like last year.
Work continues, and we're under caution here at Florida Speed Park. We'll be right back, though. United Speed Alliance Racing is known as the Hooters Pro Cup, and you are watching the Jackaroo Sauces 250 presented by Winn-Dixie.
Well, it's all scheduled for a normal pit stop. They say no changes are in order for the number 5 car of Bobby Gill. The PGT car been running off from everybody so far, so he's in good shape. Now let's run back to Martin Nesbitt, who qualified 3rd tonight. Martin Nesbitt Sr., the crew chief here, says a track bar change will loosen the car up just a little bit, Outside of that, Mark Nesbitt is ready to go.
Yeah, it looks like Mark's going to have a little problem getting out of the pits because he's in on an angle.
Yeah, well, and Sean Studer has to back out to get around John Wood's car. Studer spinning the tires, trying to get going, and he collides with Jeff Agnew. Agnew coming down pit road. Oh, you hate that.
Man.
Mike Laughlin Jr. going out with no incident. Here comes Mark Nesbitt. Let's take another look at that. Sean Studer having to back out. Here comes Jeff Agnew, crash.
Oh, man.
That could cause a problem because they hit wheel to wheel there. Left front to right front on Sean Studer's car. Let's go down to Stephen Cox on pit road once again.
Now Clayton Rogers is making his third consecutive pit stop, and they do indeed have brake problems, and they continually have more and more brake fluid running out of one of the reservoirs. Now what they're going to try to do is pinch off one of the brake lines and see if they can stop the bleeding. Meanwhile, use the other brakes to slow the car down and hope that it's enough to get Clayton through the rest of the race.
Yeah, I could see when they opened the hood on the inside of the right front tire, you could see it was wet. That was brake fluid. He must have broken a line or a caliper, and it's every time he hits the brakes, it shoots the fluid on the right front wheel.
Here is the purse fund for tonight's race, $10,000 to the winner, but a total of $67,000 given away here, including contingencies and other special awards. There's a lot of money to be made per race and a lot of money to be made for the season. Let's take another look here as we go back to the green flag. And our leader is Brian Vickers, who inherits the lead after Bobby Gill started. Our Goodyear full field rundown. There's Bobby Gill quickly into 6th position as he comes back out onto the racetrack quickly. Kevin Barrett's problem was a piece of rubber laying on the engine. They stopped him to look at it, decided it wasn't a problem, and put him back out, but there were some tense moments for him as we look at the field. And some of the guys that are doing a pretty good job, especially Chris Diamond, who started next to last. He took one of the 2 provisional starts, started 35th. He's up to 21st spot right now. Clayton Rogers, multiple stops to try to plug off that right front brake line. And Karen Schultz, who had her problems. Then we begin with the drivers who are out of the race. And they include young Reagan Smith, one of the rookie drivers.
You can see Trent Owens, the first one out tonight, had problems right from the beginning.
And we're looking dead center at Andy Thurman in his number 47 Naturally Fresh Mountain Spring Water car, reminding you that he scored his first ever Hooters Pro Cup race in the season opener, the first race of the new millennium. We're on board with him right now in third spot.
And he's right where he wants to be. He's now running third. You know, he's solidly running up front. Definitely knows he's got the right equipment. We got another caution.
And this is going to be Charlie Ford's Sun Graphics car taking a spin kind of all by itself. A little bit of the damage evident from earlier in the race that they brought him in and fixed some of that very early in the race.
Yeah, you got to remember, he has no support on his rear bumper bar. Earlier in this race, they had black flagged him because the support under the rear bumper had fallen off.
So Charlie Ford is able to continue around the racetrack as Mike Laughlin's wife, Carolyn, trying to keep warm here. As the sun goes down, it's cooled off just a little bit. Stephen Cox down on pit road with Mark Nesbitt.
Mark Nesbitt is back in for another pit stop. It's under yellow. Now they're going to put some pressure in the front left tire and take some wedge and make an adjustment to try to loosen the car up. It's really gone tight on them.
Yeah, you could see they took some wedge out of it. They turned down on the right rear spring, which actually loosens the car up.
A little bit of a lull just before halfway in the Jackaroo 250. While you're away, we went to green, but back to yellow quickly as the 08 car of John Kinder spun around. Stephen Cox is down on pit road. What's up with Clayton Rogers, Stephen?
Well, he'll only have 3 brakes instead of 4, but Clayton Rogers could soon be back out on the racetrack. There was a caliper problem on the front right. The caliper actually broke, and there's problems with brake fluid bleeding out onto the racetrack and onto the tire, making it very slick, very difficult for Clayton to handle. So they've capped off the front right brake line, and Clayton will finish the show with 3 brakes.
And the right front is a very important one. Problems also for Derek Kelly with the hood up, and brake problems are also, we're hearing on the radio that the problem is with Derek Kelly's car, the Discount Auto Parts Chevrolet. problems with brakes.
Look who's leading the race, young rookie Brian Vickers.
Took over the lead when leader Bobby Gill went in for pit. Mario Gosselin pitted early, is up to second, and Andy Thurman, the first race winner, is third. So it's like who's who up there, and Brian Vickers is leading them all.
Yeah, but I don't think I'd want to be in his shoes right now, looking in the mirror and seeing who's behind me. He's going to have his hands full.
But young Brian Vickers has been equal to the task for some 20 laps or so now. Get a good long run under green, however, he may be tested thoroughly.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be. You know, you've got those veterans, those seasoned veterans behind him, showing him the way around the racetrack. But the kid's doing an excellent job right now.
Rookie Brian Vickers with a veteran escort approaching the halfway mark and the Lucas Oil Products halfway leader prize of $1,000.
$1,000, and look at these guys. You've got Mario underneath him and Brian on the outside.
Oh, can he hang on for the halfway leader prize?
Yeah.
He does. Brian Vickers leading 25 laps, and right immediately Gosselin goes by him. What, you know, half a lap earlier, and it would have been Gosselin's $1,000 from Lucas Oil.
Doesn't matter. Brian takes home the money. I hope.
And he loses second spot right now.
I hope Brian made the same deal my son did with me with his father, is that he gets a percentage of the purse money because the kid actually got some extra pay if he did that.
Brian Vickers holding on for the halfway award, and caution flies once again here at Florida Speed Park as the 92 car brings it out. Stacy Puryear, pole sitter at Lakeland, with problems here tonight in the RBR Enterprises entry. And we'll have another look at it here. Puff of smoke down low.
As it gets into the corner, you can see some smoke coming out.
And Puryear, something let go because he backed out of it awful quick and everybody went by. So Stacy Puryear takes the car down onto pit road to further analyze the problem. It could be terminal. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned for more of the Jackaroo Sauces 250 in St. Augustine, Florida, here at the Florida Speed Park.
The USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series is brought to you by Hooters Restaurants. Hooters, delightfully tacky yet unrefined. And introducing a great new dressing from Naturally Fresh. Classic Caesar, a special Caesar taste from Naturally Fresh. Florida Speed Park isn't the only attraction here in St. Augustine. The Castillo de San Marcos is a tourist magnet, and of course, I had to go to the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum to see if they had any Bill Venturini memorabilia in there.
Brian, look there's a fire underneath this car, under the number 11 car of Kevin Barrett.
Andy Thurman is down on pit road.
Well, the first few stops lost Andy track position, but they weren't necessarily terminal. Now this one could take a while. They've narrowed the problem down a little bit. They've lost third and fourth gear, and they checked the linkage. It was definitely not a linkage problem, so they've eliminated most of the easy, quick fixes, and now they're taking a long, hard look at the transmission. They may have lost third and fourth gear permanently. They're going to put a little bit more work into it and tell Andy to go back out and see what he's got.
Bill, I think that was a half-inch combination wrench he was taking a look at the transmission with. As we are under caution here, let's take a look at our Lucas Oil Products halfway recap, giving you a look at what has gone on up to this point in the race. Bobby Gill led from virtually the beginning, taking the lead away from pole sitter Mario Gosselin before a lap had even been completed. And then Stephen Christian, running in third spot, began to experience difficulties. They brought him down pit road, put gas in the car, and let's just say that fixed the problem, although we're not really sure what it was. And then Mario Gosselin, after a relatively early pit stop on lap number 63, began running towards the front, passing Andy Thurman in the process. And Brian Vickers hung on by the narrowest of margins to take the Lucas Oil Products halfway award, and then was immediately passed by Mario Gosselin. That was our Lucas Oil Products halfway recap as we are under caution here at Florida Speed Park, formerly known as St. Augustine Speedway.
See all the lead cars on the outside lane right now. Inside lane, lapped cars. John Wood is a lap down.
After finishing in the top 3 last time, having his troubles here tonight, going a lap down just past the halfway mark in the race. Mario Gosselin taking the lead, but look who is lurking back there in that black number 5 PGT Industries car, and he is fast. Stephen Christian just in front of Bobby Gill, and Jay Fogelman just in front of Steve Christian. Let's listen in once again on the 0 car.
If I carry my speed and get off the apron, it just shatters the left front tire. I'm thinking maybe we need to pull that spring rubber out and then go ahead and take a little wedge out. That spring rubber will let it go ahead and rock to the right rear, and I think that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Bill, real quick, is he what we call de-wedging the car? I've learned a little something over the years by riding down on the apron.
Yeah, he is. He's having the racetrack kind of help turn the car for him.
Well, that's what's going on with Stephen Christian as he tries to make up some ground, and we've got action all over the racetrack. Derek Kelly, and he was having brake problems during the course of the race here just recently, and now, well, we're not sure if that's what caused it, but in any case, Derek Kelly is all over the racetrack, and we'll have another look at it here and see if we can get to the bottom of this. Top of the screen.
Yeah.
Oh, and Mike Laughlin Jr. grabs a piece of the right rear, and that's what took the bodywork off of Derek Kelly's car there after he had spun. Not sure what caused it. Might have been braking problems. Anyway, Laughlin's got a tire down now, and he's heading for pit road.
Boy, Derek Kelly's not only had the monkey on his back, he's kind of beating him to the ground so far this year.
Tough break for Mike Laughlin, too. We'll be right back. We're back at Florida Speed Park. Mike Laughlin Jr. involved in the latest incident that brought out the caution. Let's go down to Stephen Cox, who's with him.
When Mike Laughlin came in seconds ago, you could see and hear the front right bodywork really dragging. In fact, it's all the way down on the ground right now, and they're having a hard time getting the jack under there. Now they finally got it underneath the car, and they're going to work on the bodywork on the front right side. Now, he came out much the worst out of the situation where he got together with Derek Kelly a couple of minutes ago. And Mike Laughlin, of course, a former winner in this series, has won a number of races here and done very well in the past, but he's had a lackluster performance so far this year. The number 7 car in the pits, and they're having to do some heavy-duty body work, especially on the front right.
Next 5 races coming up. We showed it to you a moment ago. Here's another look. Peach State Speedway and USA International. We return there in June. You can see that our next 2 races are in North Carolina before we go to Myrtle Beach for the first of our 4 Champions Challenge events. Stephen Christian down on the inside, a lap car, while the leader is Mario Gosselin, who takes him to the green on lap number 146. John Wood caught in a revolving door there, gets a little bit high, and Bobby Gill dives underneath him to pull up to the back bumper of Jay Fogelman as we look at our Discount Auto Parts field summary of the next 5 cars in the top 10.
Yeah, Bobby Gill didn't waste any time getting down to the bottom and getting underneath John Wood. He did it in the first corner.
Both Bobby Gill and Mario Gosselin have really been, with all due respect to the others, the class of the field here tonight. They got out of sequence with one another because Gosselin stopped earlier, but Gosselin very quickly went up to the front and made the pass just after halfway to take the lead. Bobby Gill likewise has come through the field like gangbusters ever since he stopped. These guys were the first 2 in qualifying, and they're the fastest 2 cars on the track. Bobby Gill just taking over 3rd spot from Jay Fogelman.
You know, yeah, sometimes you just hit it right with the right combination, springs and shocks, and things just seem to work just perfect for you. And tonight, you know, I don't know who's better, Bobby Gill or Mario Gosselin, but right now, like you said, they're showing right now that they're definitely the class of the field. Boy, Bobby Gill went around Jay Fogelman like it was nothing.
Stephen Christian was the lap car that was also in front. Gill has in fact taken over 2nd spot, so he's right up behind Mario Gosselin in terms of track position. There were a few lap cars mixed in there for a while, but now the 2 leaders are clear and free in front of the field, and we will see who's faster, Mario Gosselin or Bobby Gill.
Yeah, and you know, the statement I made a few seconds ago wasn't to take anything away from Jay Fogelman, but boy, Bobby Gill seems like he's shot out of a cannon right now.
Mario Gosselin driving for the Irmo Grading and the Carter Grandel Casual Furniture Company.
No,
new sponsor.
Bobby's going to try the outside.
Oh, boy. Brave move. Gosselin holds him off.
For the lead.
And he edges up in front. Let's see if it's going to be official at the line. He's got position now.
Man.
He'll drop in front, and coming off the turn, yes, he will take the lead officially.
You dream of races like this when your car works this good, where you're running for the lead, the guy's leading, you're running second. Say, okay, I'm going to go around the outside of him. I mean, those are Bobby Gill better savor this moment right now, because there are very few times that your car handles this good.
For the record, Bobby Gill takes the lead on lap number 153, and caution is flying on lap number 154.
Looks
and
like
it is
a
because,
Bowser.
yep, it's Jason Bowser, the 52 car going around. We could see it, you could not, but there he is in the Bowser Motorsports entry, number 52. A little bit of damage on the car, left rear and right front. So Bowser somewhat the worse for wear here tonight. Let's go down to Stephen Cox. He's caught up with the man who was pole sitter one race ago, Stacy Puryear. Let's hear from Stephen.
For Stacy Puryear, there will not be a repeat of the brilliant performance at Lakeland. What caused your car to have to retire from the race?
Well, we had a real good car tonight, but the engine let go, unfortunately. Bobby Roberts builds a great engine, but just unfortunately something happened to it tonight. But that thing was strong, and we were handling good, and didn't qualify like we wanted to, but we were coming to the front. And I just want to thank Black's Tire Service for giving me the opportunity to be here.
Stacy Puryear, we will hear more from that young man throughout this season, no doubt. A terrific chassis setup guy who also has worked in the past for a number of the Busch Grand National drivers. And here is our leaderboard in the Jackaroo Sauces 250 on lap number 158. Discount Auto Parts leaderboard. A good look at the fresh young faces of not a rookie among them in the top 5 right now. Veterans all the way around. Well, Kevin Barrett, technically a rookie, and I will give that one to him, but he has been around racing for a long time.
Right.
He drives like a veteran, that's for sure.
Yeah, at least I didn't see any baby faces in that lineup.
Kevin Barrett had a couple of tense moments, and the safety crew and the USAR officials have been all over him in this race. First he had a big chunk of rubber laying on the engine that was smoking, and he's still got some intermittent problems out there with smoke in the cockpit, but they're not able to really find the source of the problem. So they leave him out there, they put him back in his position. He's been on the scoring leaderboard for the entire race, in spite of having spent a few laps parked on the racetrack, while the safety crew and the USAR officials had a look at that number 11 car running among the leaders. There's Bill Clemens Jr. in the number 15 Hooters restaurant car on the outside. We mentioned man on a mission. He's back on mission, under mission control again after he stopped along with almost everybody else during that caution when Bobby Gill came in for fuel and tires. So did Bill Clemens.
He's working the outside of David Craddock in the pipeline utilities.
Whoa, and down on the inside, around goes Craddock, just as you were talking about him. Maybe he took a look out the right side window there at Bill Clemens. Maybe there was contact, we're not sure. In any case, David Craddock in the pipeline utilities car number 79 is parked in the grass. Our producer is spinning up the replay. Here it is.
Oh, you can see he definitely got a little help there from the car number 82, Mark King, in the Busch Motorsports entry. And he's lucky. He didn't hit anything right now. David spun to the grass, be able to start it up and keep on going.
Should be no problem if he can get the car refired. He will rejoin the race. His gloves were coming off, it looked like.
I don't know. I think he was pointing his finger out the window is what it looked like to me.
Well, it's a good thing that gun wasn't loaded, because he was sure pointing it. We'll be right back here to St. Augustine in a minute. Welcome back to the United Speed Alliance Racing Hooters Pro Cup Round 2, the Jackaroo Sauces 250 at Florida Speed Park, presented by Winn-Dixie, America's Supermarket. Glad you could join us. It's been a pretty good race so far, a lot of good racing in spite of a couple of dominant cars, notably Bobby Gill and Mario Gosselin, who are first and second once again. Stephen Christian down on the inside in the Lucas Oil Products car, trying to get his lap back. Not going to happen this time. As we take a look at our field summary, Jay Fogelman, another veteran, running in third spot. Veteran, but technically a rookie, Kevin Barrett in fourth, and you can see the rest of the names, including Jeff Agnew, 2 years ago the champion of this series, and Marty Ward, another former champion, all in the top 10. Veteran drivers dominating the standings here, although rookies are a big part of the story for the 2000 season. 18 of them took qualifying laps here, and 14 of them started this race.
Yeah, if we keep the shot coming out, I was going to say, if we keep the shot coming out of Steve Christian's front window, we're probably going to see a wreck, because it seems like every time we do that, something happens in front of him.
Kevin Barrett just in front of Stephen Christian right now, and John Wood, talented young rookie driver who finished in the top 3 at Lakeland in the season opener, is just behind Christian right now. And Bill Clemens Jr. working his way toward the front again in that 15 Hooters restaurant car.
You've got the first 3 cars on the lead lap, running. Then you've got some lap cars mixed in. But if you notice, the lap cars are not getting pulled or dropping back. This tells you how competitive this is. Something that happened early in the race put these guys a lap down. They've made some changes. They're running as fast as the front leaders right now. So, I mean, this is a tribute to the whole series, is that the competition level is so good here that even the guys running a lap down can run with the leaders.
And they're slowing down just a little bit.
You can still see a little smoke coming off of that number 11 car. Kevin Barrett, like you said earlier, they're not sure if they found anything wrong with it, but it's not affecting anybody or the racetrack itself. But every now and then you can see a wisp of smoke. Boy, look at
John Wood slowing down on the inside.
I think he got a little help from Bill Clemens Jr. is what it looked like. Go ahead.
And Derek Kelly takes advantage of the situation. Damaged race car, brake problem fixed, however. He's racing with Bill Clemens Jr., who is this week's focus. Bill Clemens Jr., who always had a love for the sport, but got a late start in his racing career.
After my first race, I kind of debated whether I want to go back again, and then all week it chewed on me, and I said, well, let's go back again. So I've had a love for the sport in my heart since I was very little. I would tell anyone that was racing anywhere, if they're going to a new track for the first time, get all the information you can on it. I mean, basically, walk it, look at it. I mean, I would drive there physically in my car, and we'd study a tape, which is what I do religiously now. I study tapes before I get to a track. You take a little bit of someone teaching that along with some things you create and deal with your own, and racing side by side with people, you kind of develop a love for it, for the driving as well as a skill for it.
Knowledge, experience, and having Dale Burns, an incredible crew chief, join his team should make it a successful year.
He's kind of like a dream come true for a driver. I had almost began to say, well, nightmares of again last year. Nothing a true chief anybody else can do. Well, he made a call to come in on lap 80. He said, bring that car in here. I said, we're going to fix it. We brought it in, he adjusted the car, he gave me a set of tires, and I went out, and the car just came to life. I couldn't believe that just his touch and what he did just brought that car back to life.
Bill's focus isn't just on victory lane, but also helping others. He spends a lot of time with handicapped and hospitalized children.
When I started racing, this little girl, she rolled up to the start-finish line at the fence, and she was in a wheelchair, and she's about 8 or 9 years old, and her name is little Miss Christy Gaddy. She'd never walked a day in her life, and she still smiled. She'd come every Saturday night, and she'd pull for me, and it's a very warm feeling to see children pull for you. I made the statement that as long as I raced, I'd have her name on my car. I think everybody, as well as driving their race cars, race to win, but sometimes there's other things that you can race for.
Bill Clemens Jr. has yet to win his first Hooters Pro Cup race. He got so close last time out in Lakeland. You know he wants it bad.
Well, he's made that commitment this year that he's going to do what it takes to win a race and maybe the championship. And I think the guy's got the potential and the desire to do it this year.
Well, he's up into 5th as we take a look at our Goodyear full field rundown. Jeff Agnew moves to 6th along with Marty Ward, and you can see that Sean Studer, the rookie driver in the Yoo-Hoo Chocolate Drink car, is there. Don Satterfield recovering from some early problems to run 11th. There's Jerry Rector, who had been among the leaders for most of the early part of the race. He's in 16th spot. Clayton Rogers' problems took him all the way down to 24th. He's still running fairly strong after his crew did the best they could with little or no brakes. And Stephen Christian in 28th, we've chronicled his problems and seen his car quite a bit as well. Then we begin to look at the cars that are out of the race. Karen Schultz is still running, but spent some time off the racetrack. And Trent Owens, the first car out, being credited with 36th position right now in the 1-800-B Petty entry.
Well, watching what's going on the racetrack right now, Mario Goslin, who earlier part of this race had to worry about Bobby Gill, he's got to not worry about Bobby Gill in front of him right now because he's real close and losing the position right now to Jay Fogelman. Jay, for the last 5 or 6 laps, has been all over his back bumper, and he's been looking high and low. And Mario just happened to use lap traffic right now to help him out, but it looks like Fogelman's definitely closing the gap right now.
It also seems very clear that while Mario Gosselin was the pole sitter in fast qualifier, that Bobby Gill concentrated a little bit more on his race setup. And Gosselin came in early to change tires.
Right.
It didn't help. His car still isn't as good as the PGT Industries #5 of race leader Bobby Gill.
Well, you know, you got to remember Bobby Gill's tires, and at this point of the race, I don't think it really matters, but there was a time when Bobby Gill's tires were 40 laps fresher than Mario's, and it showed because Bobby was able to get through traffic really quick, but I don't think it really would have mattered. Bobby Gill's car is hooked up right now.
Karen Schultz dives down low to allow the leaders to go by, showing the courtesy that all of the faster cars would like to see from lap cars. She does a great job of getting out of the way, acknowledging that she doesn't have a winning car here tonight.
Speaking of Bobby Gill, who's been kind of dominating this race, PGT Industries. Now, come on, Brian.
Yep.
We had a little talk about
Right.
this earlier. You know, we've been mentioning this name for 2 seasons now, and a lot of people don't even know what it is.
Formerly Vinyl Tech, they make windows, very fine windows of all kinds, and that's what PGT Industries is. They have sponsored Bobby Gill for a lot of years.
And here we are looking out of Steve Christian's front window again, and we've got a window full. And you can look in his rearview mirror. There's cars behind him. There's cars all over him. He's definitely in the middle of a pack right now.
He's coming up on the outside of the number 44 of Terry Klein, the Team Concept 2000 car. This is a car that is crewed entirely by students from Catawba Valley Community College in a continuing education program. That program at Catawba provides crewmen for Winston Cup, Busch teams, and so on. But a lot of those teams, if I can digress for just a moment here, came back to the people that run that program and said, these are great technicians, but what they miss is the concept of working as members of a team. What does Catawba Valley Community College do? Put together a team that's going to crew this car for an entire year and learn how to become team players as well as fabricators and technicians. Great concept, great program. I'm a big fan of it. We'll see more of it this season, I guarantee you.
And only, you know, that's Catawba County, that's around the Charlotte area. Only in that area do they have programs like this. You know, I'm from Chicago. We never even knew what racing was, you know, at school. Yeah, you raced. They thought you went to the local dirt track. You know, down here, though, I mean, it's college. You go to school to learn racing, to be a crew member, to learn the technical part of it, be an engineer, whatever it is, you can learn it down in the South.
Bill Clemens Jr. coming up behind Jeff Agnew, and these guys are battling for that 5th position on the racetrack. They go around Craddock, who spun a moment ago. Derek Kelly, who's laps down, is in the middle of the fray, but still has a very fast car, the Discount Auto Parts Chevy. And Kevin Barrett continues to exhibit kind of an intermittent smoke problem there, and word from his crew is that he's getting fogged into the cockpit, and it may be steering related because he says the car just won't quite turn correctly. So he's struggling with the handling of the car a little bit, and he's fighting off some smoke in the cockpit.
You know, I'm watching the action right now. You know who I think is getting frustrated right now? Bill Clemens Jr. He feels he's got a better race car. You can see he was looking high, looking low. And Jeff Agnew and Derek Kelly were running side by side. Didn't give Bill Clemens any way to get around it, but now they got single file, and he's not been able to do anything with it.
With a 3-second lead, Bobby Gill, it just looks like he's on a Sunday stroll. You can almost picture him with one arm out the window.
Yeah, he turned his radio up a little louder right now. Listen to some tunes.
Great action a little bit deeper in the field, though, and the caution flag once again flies. This time it's Mark King, rookie driver.
Spin coming off
out
the
of
corner.
South Carolina. Yep, spun it. There he is, facing the wrong way on the racetrack and trying to get going again. We'll have another look. And a little tap from Sean Studer in the Yoo-Hoo chocolate drink car.
Boy, it was just
sends him around
ever so slightly, but you can see they both kind of bobbled right in the center of the corner. And Sean Studer's car just touched the left rear of Mark King, but it was enough that he spun him around.
Here's a little look at something that happened earlier as Derek Kelly got into the back of Kevin Barrett. Now, Barrett, technically a rookie, but that's a veteran save.
You got that right. That was a veteran save right in the center of the corner.
Lost a couple of spots on the track. Agnew able to get down underneath and inside of him, as did Bill Clemens Jr. with a little help from Derek Kelly. So Mark King has got the Busch Motorsports car pointed the right way again. The crowd, some of them are on their feet anticipating the finish coming up soon. Welcome back to St. Augustine, Florida's Speed Park for the Jackaroo Sauces 250. The number 34 car, Mike Herman Jr., on and off pit road. The real action is coming as Curtis Davis's car is being pushed by one of the safety vehicles in an effort to try to get it started again. No problems for Bobby Gill. But right now, let's go down to Stephen Cox. He's down in the infield with the crew chief on the 11 car. Stephen?
Mitch, you guys are really lighting it up out there. Now, I saw some smoke a few laps ago. Did that turn out to be a big problem for Kevin?
No, it wasn't. What it turned out to be was a piece of rubber caught up in a rotor that had caught on fire, a piece of rubber off the track. That's the reason the fire guys, they put it out and let us go on. I tell you, the Harton Automotive Group, Lark Portable Chevrolet, is really running good tonight. We didn't qualify as well as we'd like to have, but I'll tell you what, we're racing real good. And Kevin's saving his tires a little right now. Hope we got something for him at the end.
That was my next question. You're obviously out of pit stops. There's no more opportunities for adjustments. Will Kevin have anything for him, and did he expect to be here?
Well, you know, we're rookies at this, but we qualified good at Lakeland, ran pretty good at Lakeland with the exception of having some bad luck. So, yeah, we expect to be here because we've won in every division and every series we've been in before. But what we're trying to do right now, we know that there's a couple of cars in front of us that have tires that maybe have 25, 30 more laps on them than we've got, trying to save our rubber and see what we got.
He said the rookies at this? Nah, he's no rookie. You could tell by that interview. He got his sponsors. He said how good they qualified. He knew what he was talking about.
Here are all four of the Champions Challenge events that began in Myrtle Beach with the Mark Brooks Memorial and conclude with the final event of the 2000 season back at Lakeland and USA International Speedway. We hope that you make a special mark on your calendar for each of those events. As we go back to green here, and look how quickly Bobby Gill is able to jump away a car length or two from even Mario Gosselin as we look once again at our Goodyear full field rundown. There's Kevin Barrett running in 6th spot. We just heard from his crew chief, Mitch Shook.
Good run for Martin Nesbitt, running 7th right now.
Very good run for the man who qualified 3rd.
And our first race winner of the year, Andy Thurman, running 15th right now.
Running 15th, not as good as last time out, but not bad. And Chris Diamond, how about that? 35th,
yep.
Up to 16th. This is a guy going for the Hard Charger Award 2 weeks in a row. He got it last time.
Terry
Bowser,
Terry Klein in that Concept 2000 car.
Clayton Rogers, we already mentioned, running strong early, but brake problems put him towards the back of the field. Stephen Christian with problems. Karen Schultz in the Naturally Fresh Foods car, still running, but in 28th position right now, and pretty much the rest of the field out of the race. Most recently, Curtis Davis's 00 car was not able to get it restarted. The Davis Motorsports entry is now out of the race. Out on the racetrack, Bobby Gill, no problems. Good racing behind him. Jeff Agnew, Bill Clemens Jr. pulled away now from Derek Kelly. There's Kelly's fairly well damaged and cosmetically challenged Discount Auto Parts Chevy.
Yeah, it took Derek Kelly a couple laps to get around Darrell Hayes in the Carlin Financial Group Chevy. I mean, it just kind of, he was hanging on the outside, be able to run with him, and finally Derek Kelly put the move.
Both cars not on the lead lap as we look at the 30 State Fair brand Corn Dogs car of Martin Nesbitt and the 11 of Kevin Barrett, who continues to struggle a little bit compared to where he was running earlier in the race. We heard a piece of rubber causing a fire and some concern, some rather extended concern by the USAR officials and the safety crew. They got that problem fixed, but they're having an intermittent additional problem. And once again on board with Sean Studer with that piece of duct tape there showing him which way to dial in the brakes if he needs to, either rear or front.
Yeah, right in front of him is Martin Nesbitt in the State Fair brand Corn Dog Chevrolet. But I noticed Mark's really been pushing Kevin Barrett right now, and he's kind of tapped him a couple times. And look, as he get into the corner, he looks underneath him, you know, but Kevin kind of closes the door. But as they come off the corner, Mark gets a better run on him. He's looking again on the inside.
Coming up and working on the lap car of Darrell Hayes, and now Martin Nesbitt. But here goes Marty Ward, a veteran driver, down through the infield there. Sometimes former crew chief for Bill Clements Jr., race car driver that picked up a win last year, and now he's got his own problems out there. And here's another look at it. Oh, and he got some help.
Got a little help.
A lot of help. Look at all those cars behind him pushing on each other.
Yeah, you know, it looked like Brian Vickers had checked up a little from him, and he was getting pushed from behind him.
So Marty Ward spins down into the infield and brings out a caution, getting a lot of help from a whole herd of cars. And we are under yellow here. And from the looks on these guys' faces, you wouldn't think that the old saying, a bad day at the racetrack beats a good day at the office. We'll be right back. The crowd here at St. Augustine knows that Jay Fogelman is a new dad, but Stephen Cox has caught up with the crew chief for the details.
Now, tell me about the new papa thing. I understand he's heard a baby crying and hadn't slept a lot lately.
Oh, yeah. He's been a papa. He ain't even hardly been at the shop none. Us boys been doing the work, and he's been telling us what to do over the telephone most of the time. He's a happy man.
Well, Jay Fogelman just had twins. Tell me, were they boys, girls?
One boy and one girl. The little boy weighed, I think, 6'4", and the little girl was 5'5", something like that.
Well, it's going to be a while before he sleeps again.
Yeah, they was about a month premature, but they're fine. Everybody's happy. Mama's happy. Everybody's happy. Thank you.
Well, it's a big, happy family around the hauler there with 3 generations of Fogelmans at the racetrack here, at least in spirit. The babies, of course, are at home, but
did you see
his dad is here.
Did you see the restart? Bobby Gill stood on the throttle.
Oh.
He got the car sideways. I mean, what's this guy doing? He doesn't need to take a chance like that.
I tell you, the way he pulls out away from the field is old news by now to everybody here at Florida Speed Park. Let's go right now to our tech tip this week, sponsored by Renegade Race Transporters, carburetors on the subject.
Well, new carburation rules for the year 2000 have a bunch of teams going out and trying to find some more speed and meet up with the new carburation that's available to you. New carburetor, old carburetor. Scott Sutherland, tell me the difference.
Well, this is the old carburetor that we ran last year, and this is a typical carburetor. You can buy it at your local parts store. The choke horn area has been machined off. You could find this probably on your dad's dump truck out back. This is the new style of the 600, same version of carburetor, only this has a machined area in this center. This is designated simply for the racing industry. They have the air bleeds that are used by jets instead of the old air bleed holes. We can tune this carburetor and get just a little bit more out of this one versus the old stuff.
How much more?
We're here in 5 to 10 horsepower, so we have to be there.
Now, when they try to police these, they're looking for every trick that a team could possibly pull with them. Is this going to be easier or harder for them to police?
It's going to be a lot easier for them. Their instruments that they use to check this carburetor is easier for them on this than it was the old version, and there's a lot less area for us to cheat on this, supposedly.
But you can still run the old carburetor if you want to.
Absolutely, but if there's 5 horsepower, you got to have that.
Well, the rules changes can be very small. They can be hidden under the hood, but they are very, very critical. Don't get caught without your 5 horsepower this year.
Thank you very much, Stephen, and I think we could add to that, Bill, don't get caught, period, right?
Yeah, well, you notice that's what Scott said. You know, well, there's less cheating, so they say.
Yeah, probably, possibly.
Yeah,
he hedged his bets with that statement, didn't he? Marty Ward down on pit road, and the crew is under the hood of the 97 Harrison's Works car.
Yeah, by going to that carburetor that they were talking about, it definitely helps the officials police the inspections better, because everyone's got more of the uniform type of a carburetor, and you know, you buy them like that. I'd even say it was more than 5. I'd probably venture to say it's more of a 10 to 15 horsepower gain.
Bill Clements Jr. up behind Jay Fogelman, who's slightly inside on Jeff Agnew, and this is by far the best race on the track right now. Derek Kelly also in the mix, and as is Stephen Christian. They are not on the lead lap, however.
Do you see Bill Clements? I mean, Jay Fogelman, he's looking under Jeff Agnew. Yeah, he's kind of helping him right now. But he goes to look underneath Jeff Agnew, and then Bill goes to look underneath Jay Fogelman. The only problem is there's no more racetrack under there.
Bobby Gill staying out of all that trouble out in front right now. And Jeff Agnew, Jay Fogelman, and Bill Clements Jr. in single file right now, as Jay Fogelman still tries to look inside of the Jeffco Motorsports car. And Bill Clements Jr. is the guy who thinks he's got the faster car among these 3.
See him look,
he is looking everywhere he can. Let's listen in on Bill Plemons Jr. and his crew, what they're saying out there.
He's working. Be patient. You got the whole world right there in front of you, baby. Let's reach out there and get some of it.
Dale Reed. Yeah, he reached out and got some. He got Jay Fogelman on that one.
Good job. Go on. Go on. Hey, he come down on you, baby. Bill, this is going to be one hell of a season.
Crew Chief Dale Burns, I think that's an understatement, my friend.
Well, there's definitely a crew chief building up a driver's confidence. Don't worry about it. Just keep on digging.
Another look as Bill Plemons Jr. is on the low side. Did he turn into him from the high side? You make the call.
Yeah, that's one of those racing incidents that, you know, both guys were going for the same piece of real estate. Don't know who really had the right of way to it.
And Fogelman was pointing low on Agnew at the same time, although he was not overlapped. Derek Kelly just misses the whole thing, and Plemons just barely got by after the contact was made as well. But an interesting season, I would say so, and we are only just short of 2 races into it. We'll be right back. A little bit of a long night for all the crews, but let's go downstairs to Stephen Cox.
Jay Fogelman makes the pit stop he didn't want to have to make. You know, he was getting bumped on both ends here. Not only was he moving forward and putting his nose into Jeff Agnew, but also Bill Plemons Jr. in the 15 car was bumping into the rear of the 4 car Jay Fogelman. So this car is beat up at both ends. They decided not to make any adjustments whatsoever. TJ Clark looked at me very sadly and said, we're just going to throw on right side rubber and see what happens.
And some of the USAR officials at the very highest level, Jim Wilson, the race director, having a look at that incident, along with Gene Cox, who is the president and director of racing. The buck stops with these guys, and, well, Gene's smiling. Just one of them racing deals, right, Gene?
I think he just likes the action.
I think so, too, and who doesn't? The Hooters Pro Cup, the very best short track racing, and you are right in the middle of it. Still a little bit of smoke puffing around out there in the area of Kevin Barrett's car. We continue to monitor that situation as we go back to the green with 18 laps remaining in the Jackaroo Sauces 250 presented by Winn-Dixie.
Did you see what Bobby Gill did? I
mean, again.
I don't mean just jumping out like he did. What he did is, look at what he did to Mario. He got Mario hung up on the left car going into the corner. Yeah, he could have passed the left car really fast, Mike Herman Jr., but he didn't. He kind of just got enough ahead of him so that when they got into the corner, then Mario was stuck on the outside, couldn't get around him, and then he just left him. That was definitely a move of a veteran. Use the left cars to slow your competition down.
Well, you know, I was looking, and there is no R next to Bobby Gill's name on the entry list. No way, no how. Bobby Gill is a veteran and the defending champion of the Hooters Pro Cup Series. Another caution flying out here, and once again, it's David Craddock that's involved in the Pipeline Utility Semsco car. And he's parked for the second time this evening in the grass and facing the wrong way down on the home stretch. Let's go down to Stephen Cox on pit road. He's with the 30 car guys. Martin Nesbitt.
Martin Nesbitt Sr. has watched his son's car go from the back to the front to the back to the front again. It started out very poorly. The car was way, way too tight. Then they brought the number 30 State Fair Corn Dogs car in a couple of times in a row to make some adjustments all over the race car to try to free it up more and more in the corners. And very late in this race, we've seen this car, which is almost completely rebuilt from the ground up, move back to the front again.
Well, David Craddock with problems and Martin Nesbitt with problems solved, apparently. Welcome back. United Speed Alliance Racing Hooters Pro Cup Racing round number 2, the Jackaroo Sauces 250 presented by Winn-Dixie at Florida Speed Park. You can join us, though, on Saturday, April 15th at 8 p.m. at Hudson, North Carolina's Tri-County Speedway for round 3 of the Hooters Pro Cup Series. We want to see you there live and in color. Bring your bad self on out and watch the best in short track racing. Bobby Gill did it again. Look, he's got Mario Gosselin hung on the outside, and
see, the lap car almost wrecked Mario, so he had to back off it. He's got to regain his composure, get set up. Yeah, now he's not going to try the outside this time. He's going to wait for an opening down on the bottom, I think.
Well, Derek Kelly and his crew on the Discount Auto Parts car are probably thinking, oh boy, if we had not had a problem with brakes, we'd be right in the middle of this race. And they're in 4th position on the racetrack, but not on the lead lap. Jeff Agnew on the outside working hard on Martin Nesbitt.
And look at Agnew. You know, he's got a good run going tonight. And look who's coming up behind him. Bill Plemons Jr.
Danger, Will Robinson. Bill Plemons Jr., the last time he got close, bad things happened. Let's see. Bill Plemons Jr., though, running a very solid 5th on the racetrack right now. Kevin Barrett's number 11 car going inside on Mike Herman Jr.
Something tells me we're going to be talking a lot about this guy this year, Kevin Barrett.
I think so. 8 laps remain in this one. Marty Lindley in the Alleluia Redneck Beef Jerky 01, his own car under him this week and looking pretty good. There he is just behind Barrett. On the inside comes John Wood, the talented rookie driver. And there is that cluster of cars that just seems to have found each other and can't shake each other off out there tonight.
Well,
good racing at that 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round in there tonight.
Mario finally got around the 82 car, Mark King, in the Busch Motorsports entry, but it took him a little while. You know, it kind of gave Bobby Gill that extra cushion for a couple laps that he was looking for, but it doesn't seem like he needs it tonight.
Bobby Gill has absolutely had him covered here this evening, and most of the shots we have seen of Bobby Gill's car have been like that, all alone, and into the infield goes Jeff Agnew. Yes, Bill Plemons was in the area, and now Jeff Agnew is parked down in the grass. Could there be a connection here? Bill Plemons Jr., we said it was in the area and may have well gone back to the old school of stock car racing. Here's a look. Plemons is pinned on the inside. And with nowhere to go, yes, there was contact.
Okay, now I'm a racer. Now I say, yeah, there's contact, but I got to tell you, it looked like Bill Plemons had nowhere to go. Martin Nesbitt was on the outside. He couldn't move out. He was kind of jammed in there. Looked like he was on the brakes hard because I saw some smoke come out from the left front tire. Nothing he could do. But he did run into Jeff Agnew, so.
Smoke or dust, perhaps even. He had a left wheel almost off the racetrack. End result, Agnew's parked. The Team Concept guys pushing the 44 car. They had to bring it in for fuel. They slightly miscalculated for this 250-plus laps race. And let's give away some special awards, beginning with the Incentive Risk Management Smart Move of the race, going to Kevin Barrett, who avoids disaster with a very veteran move out of a rookie driver. So for 2 weeks in a row, rookie drivers have earned the Smart Move award in the Hooters Pro Cup.
All right, enough of that rookie stuff.
And if you want to learn more about USAR Pro Cup racing, go to usarprocup.com on the World Wide Web.
And what was your joke about me and computers?
Yeah, you know how you get to billventurini.com? Through Western Union.
Thanks, Brian. Don't forget, you're older than me.
That's right.
And Bobby Gill still jumps out on a great start.
This is a guy, I mean,
whoa, look at
V for Venturini, V for veteran. You can give them both that award. Bobby Gill just dances away from Mario Gosselin, and that's not an easy job. It's going to be a green-white checker finish here, and that's where the miscalculation on fuel came from. It's not 250, it's going to be 255 laps by our count. As Bobby Gill stretches out his lead, Mario Gosselin can't touch him, and Martin Nesbitt can't touch Mario. They may just go to the line like that, and they do, with Bobby Gill winning the race over Mario Gosselin and Martin Nesbitt. It was a good one. Our crew chief of the race, let's just call him Duz, Steve Dusnevsky, for the Bobby Gill car, PGT Industries number 5. He earns the W.J. Plemons Investments Crew Chief of the Race Award, and his driver wins the Jackaroo Sauces 250. There he is, another good look at the race car. We'll get a word from the race car driver in a moment. The USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series has been brought to you by Hooters Restaurants. Hooters, delightfully tacky yet unrefined. And by Jackaroo Sauces. Jackaroo tastes so great they named a steakhouse after us. By Naturally Fresh Dressings. It's not just our name, it's our promise. And by Miller Lite, the great taste of a true Pilsner beer. Bobby Gill climbing out of the car as the guest of honor on the Stephen Cox Show. When you want to be. Here's Stephen.
Well, it's been a long, long time since I've seen a car that was this dominant. You knew you were quick. You were on the outside pole. Did you expect to be that quick?
No, I didn't. You know, the first race, we didn't get the car done really in time enough. We hurried up and got there. And, so this time we had a month to work on it. We got things ironed up on it. But, you know, I got to thank Billy Hess, Keith Dorton, and X1R people all coming on board helping me here. And we got a crew member that was changed tires for us electrically, and his back gave out on him when he changed the right side, and he had to crawl around on the car. And they did surgery on his Friday on his back, and we hope he gets well, and this one's for him.
You made it look easy. You made it look like you could almost lead the race at will, and you were never really challenged. Was that the case?
Yeah, you know, the car was just awesome. I mean, I'm going to get this thing home and weld every nut and bolt on it and leave it alone. So I can't, I got to thank the crew and everybody today, and it's been a wonderful time.
You know, last week I told you I talked to Bobby Gill. All right, Bobby, this one's for you. You definitely dominated tonight. You and Billy Hess have the chassis set up perfect. And I got to tell you, if that's the way it's going to be all season, you're going to be really the guy to beat again.
Well, he said he was going to weld every nut and bolt on it. Bobby Gill with a win. Race number 2 of the season for the defending champion comes up a winner. And how about Marty Lindley there with a good run? Brian Vickers, Kevin Barrett. Rookie drivers.
Good run for Don Satterfield.
Indeed, Don Satterfield and Charlie Ford, the last car on the lead lap. 14 car finishes 14th. We look through all of the results here. The Jackaroo Sauces 250. John Woods, second in the first race, 17th here tonight. Not every week are these rookies going to get in there, but they sure are getting in their licks during the course of the season.
Yeah, but they learn every race.
They certainly do. Stephen Christian and Karen Schultz with some bad luck in this one. 25th and 26th places respectively. A good early run for Clayton Rogers comes up short, and here are the rest. Let's go back downstairs because Stephen Cox is caught up with the man deservedly in third position with his totally new car.
Well, I think they changed everything. Well, you kept the roll cage, but outside of that, you took the whole car, threw it in the trash, and started over, and it paid off tonight.
Yeah, I tell you, we worked our tails off. We went down to Lakeland and just got embarrassed. I mean, we really didn't run that bad for what we were capable of. We were just outclassed by the field, and we had 4 weeks off, and I knew I wasn't going to run 30th anymore, so we came home, kept the seat and the dashboard, and cut everything else out of it. Billy Hess, everybody's been chasing Bobby and Mario and Christian and a lot of other ones in those cars, and we just decided if we can't beat them, go join them, and I think the results, speak for themselves. It just takes it all. We got a new body on the car, a new Hamner motor, Hess with the chassis, and it all adds up, makes it go.
Billy Hess chassis first and third, but second place finisher Mario Gosselin with his new Carter Grandel Casual Furniture sponsorship is the points leader with the best 2-race combination. First race winner Andy Thurman is second. And how about Charlie Ford, the veteran, third in points. John Wood leading rookie. Kevin Barrett, another rookie back there in 8th spot. And Don Satterfield rounding out the top 10. Bobby Gill, bad run in the first race, has him 9th in points. Our State Fair brand Corn Dog Hard Charger Award goes for the second week to Chris Diamond. This time he started 35th and finished 1 spot better in 10th place. Let's take a look at the rookie points right now. John Wood, of course, leading. Kevin Barrett, and there are the rest. Sean Studer in his new chocolate drink car.
Brian Vickers in the CV Products Chevrolet running 5th right now in the point standings.
And our Miller Lite rookie of the race is Sean Studer in the Yoo-Hoo chocolate drinks car. Started 11th, finished 5th, a top 5 for the young man. We will have the Hooters Pro Cup 250 on Sunday, April 23rd here on Speed Vision at 8 p.m. Eastern Time from Tri-County Speedway in Hudson, North Carolina. Certainly hope that you can join us there. www.speedvision.com should be your home on the World Wide Web when you're not with us here on the air. Our congratulations to Bobby Gill and to all of the great performances here tonight at St. Augustine. For Stephen Cox down on pit road and for my buddy and partner here in the booth, Phil Venturini, I'm Brian Drever. So long, everybody. We'll see you in North Carolina.